So obviously, like at the end of the day, you're a Dapper employee. Dapper has Top Shot all day and UFC Strike. So you guys, like, while you're separate products, you kind of guys are all on the same team. And like you said, like Meg is a great example. Like she does stuff for Top Shot, she does stuff for Strike. Like she's and
She
for
does
all day.
everything.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
organizing all these events across the board. So is there any like advantage of having Top Shot, who's been around for a while, and all day? Like, are you guys communicating with them, asking how they're approaching different problems? Do you guys collaborate on things behind the scenes?
Yeah, I would say it's largely been most it's mostly been us being UFC Strike having the privilege of learning
Hmm.
from a lot of what's already happened. Like I was a collector on Top Shot when, like early days and like saw the sort of rise and the decline and where it's at now. I wouldn't say we've done like a ton of collaboration on anything like specific, but there's like a good amount of knowledge share, whether it's across the different products we're using for like our tech stack, for
Hmm.
marketing or whatever the case might be, or if it is something around like a promotion that they did, what did well, what didn't do well. It's great to learn from them because they have just like Top Shot's done so much already that we've been able to pull a lot from them. But also, I wouldn't say that we're all trying to do the same things.
Hmm.
So it's all very like we go do things and then we come back and we say what we've learned and then like we'll each like take what the others tested and found to be successful and try to spin it in our own way. But I think we also want to make sure like it's organic and it makes sense. And what might work on NFL, it might not work on UFC or vice versa or NBA. The simplest way to frame that, what I'm trying to say is we speak a lot and we work together a lot, but ultimately like we treat each product like I would say quite unique,
Hmm.
distinct, treated as such. So it's a healthy balance, really. Like there's not a lot
Yeah.
of like overreach, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And that's, I mean, that's cool to hear because, yeah, why reinvent the wheel every time?
Yeah. It's
You
also
gotta
like think
learn.
about it like you have multiple incubators basically. Like we can be testing things and iterating on things and all day can be testing and iterating on things. Like we can do things faster than if like I have to test them
Hmm.
and learn myself. They can test it and like give me like it might still be worth testing on our side, but like I can at least have some sort of data to take away from that
Okay.
before
So
I go do it myself.
yeah, so using that as I think a good example here, and something I would love to get more insight on, is has to do with mixed packs then, because UFC
Yeah.
has released a lot of mixed packs early on, maybe a little on the expensive side, but I think you guys have like absolutely crushed it now, where people like no matter what they pull, they're pretty stoked. Like if I pull three contenders, I'm like, was guaranteed this like Sean O'Malley. So I didn't hit the challenger, but I still feel like I got what I paid for. Like I feel like I didn't like it
Right.
wasn't like some scam. Like I got like a premium fighter, like Sugar Sean O'Malley, someone very recognizable. And like I'm pretty happy with that. I like if I lost money, theoretically, it's not like an insane amount. Like I feel like you guys have really, really just like perfected the mixed pack. And we've seen like Top Shot had some issues with mixed packs where they weren't doing a great job. And I think even all day at the beginning, they're like, oh yeah, $250 or I don't remember how much the number was, but they're like, oh, they were charging way more for 3 moments compared to what they're doing now. So have you guys been able to learn just like watching that, but also like talking with them and maybe like looking at the data behind it in order to like figure out really what
Yeah.
exactly you guys are looking for?
And I think I probably could have been more specific in the last answer that like I work mostly in like marketing, so like our marketing teams like it's mostly idea sharing. Our economists work much more closely together. So in
Okay.
terms of the example you referenced, it's like yeah, they had conversations across those products around like what worked, what didn't. I said something earlier about like how we don't necessarily have like an endpoint. Like we have like numbers that we are going for and like general like indicators with the acknowledgement that like things change very quickly in this space and we
Hmm.
are, the thing that got us from, 0 to 1 isn't going to get us from 1 to 10, 10 to 100, whatever.
Yeah.
So like it's constant reinvention, but there are some things that are much more like scientific, like game design, which is like, and our economists, which do collaborate across the products. Because like you said, like Top Shot has done so much more testing.
Yeah.
On that, like, so by the time it got to us, like we had a better idea as to like what sort of, you know, economy needed to be built, and like more frankly, like, or more specifically, like what we could avoid building based on what Top Shot experienced.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fascinating. That's really, I mean, it's really good to hear too, because you don't, I guess you wouldn't want your economist living in like a UFC strike bubble, because
Yeah, and we also don't want to feel like it's just like things jumping from one thing to the other thing, and like I said, like things need to exist somewhat in like vacuums, but at the same time, like we don't need to make the same mistakes that other products did if they've already made them.
yeah,
And like we're testing things right now that maybe NFL All Day could learn from before they get a chance to test them, because they have different short-term priorities than we have. So like it's really it's a little bit of a nice dance, you know. You figure some things out, you bring it back, and you share it, and we're constantly learning or constantly working with more data than we ever did before, whether anecdotal or not, but mostly anecdotal from across teams, where it's just like, this seems to click. I talk to collectors and they understand this, they don't understand that. Those nuances like become invaluable over time, especially when you're trying to market these things and like really understand that deeper. It's a good thing. Like I said, it feels like a bit of an incubator where there's like a constantly testing, constantly learning new things, but not attempting to like do the same things over and over again or learn the same mistakes twice. So yeah, same brain, three different bodies, I guess. Maybe that's one way to think of it.